Ageman couldn't shake the feeling. The drum hadn't been wrong. It had been trying to tell him something. And now, he needed to figure out what. But where did he even start? At first, he tried to push it to the back of his mind. He went about his day, acted like the palace wasn't suddenly filled with people who either feared him or wanted him to disappear. Then, he started paying attention, really paying attention. And that's when he noticed something strange. The palace wasn't just tense because of the drum. There was something else, something deeper. It was in the way the elders muttered to each other when they thought no one was listening. It was in the way his mother, Queen Nana Abena, had been watching him lately, not with worry, but with calculation. The first time he caught her, she was at the royal courtyard, sipping palm wine as he practiced with his spear. He had expected the usual motherly concern, a light remark about being careful. Instead, she simply stared, her eyes cool and unreadable, as if she were measuring something or waiting for something to happen. Then there was Badu. His brother had always been a warrior first, a prince second. For as long as Ageman could remember, Badu had lived for the battlefield. But lately, there was something else. Ageman saw it in the way he gripped the sword a little too tightly when discussing border skirmishes, in the way he lingered near the throne after court sessions, fingers trailing over its golden armrests as if he were getting familiar with it. And then there was that night at the training grounds. Ageman had walked in, expecting the usual drills, but instead, he found Badu standing over a defeated sparring partner, breathing hard, eyes sharp, jaw clenched. He hadn't noticed Ageman at first, but when he did, he smirked and said, "You ever wonder what makes a great king, little brother?" Ageman had shrugged. "Wisdom? Leadership?" Badu chuckled, shaking his head. "No, power. Raw power. The rest is just pretty talk." And then there were the whispers. Ageman first overheard them in the palace corridors. Soft voices, nervous tones, his name, his father's name, and something else, a prophecy. The first time he tried to listen, the servants fell silent the moment they saw him, but later, he caught more fragments. The drum. It played too soon. If the throne must change hands, then the word sent a chill down his spine. At first, Ageman dismissed it. Prophecies were always floating around in royal circles. One elder or another was always predicting something. But then, late one night, Kwame burst into his chambers, eyes wide. "You need to see this." Now, when Kwame said something was urgent, it usually wasn't. The last time he had barged in like this, it was because he had found an old Ashanti love poem that, according to him, was so bad it had personally offended him. But this time, his face was serious. They slipped through palace corridors, Kwame leading him to a hidden section of the archives he hadn't explored before, torches flickering as they searched through piles of brittle scrolls and forgotten records that even the royal historians rarely touched. Then, Kwame revealed what he had found. Another scroll, even older than the one Ageman had discovered. A detailed record of the last time the Enternal drum had made a mistake. And combined with what Ageman had already found, the truth was clear. It was no mistake at all. The drum wasn't just an announcer of death. It had been used before to shift power, to manipulate fate itself. Ageman's fingers tightened around the scrolls as he read. The last time the drum had played early, it hadn't been calling for the person who died. It had been a warning. Someone had interfered with destiny. Someone had twisted fate to their advantage. His chest tightened. The drum had played for him, but the first death had been a guard, a meaningless casualty, which meant he was never the real target. His pulse quickened as the realization hit. The drum was warning him, but not for himself. The real target was the king. Someone was planning his father's death. And if the ancient scrolls were right, they didn't have much time left to stop it.